I think when men make that comment, they're not thinking about the actual process and the commitment that they are going to have to put into that and the longevity, even if that relationship doesn't work out. Like, you're still her sponsor. So keep that in mind. When
And
you
that
go
goes into
and you find your other American woman, you, let's just say you went over there and you got her and you thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. And
I want you guys to look at this video that Tam introduced and she had no clue she was doing. How about
What is this form? You might have also heard of this sponsoring an immigrant. And it has to do with the financial status of the petitioner, usually a U.S. citizen, sometimes a permanent resident, filing a form and saying, I am going to take care of this immigrant so they do not become a public charge, so they don't come to the United States and ask the government for benefits. And so they sign this form and they have to give proof of their earnings and tax returns and W-2s and 1099 forms and this kind of thing. Why do they do that and what does it mean? What exactly am I signing here? Well, basically, if you read the forms, what you are signing is a promise to support this immigrant so that they do not become a public charge in the United States. Now, for most people, this is a close relative. This is a spouse, sometimes it's a child, it can be a brother or sister or a parent. Usually not much controversy in being willing to sponsor a family member. But what happens if it is a spouse and then later you divorce? Well, this is where it gets very tricky and a lot of people don't realize this. What you are signing when you sign the affidavit of support is actually a contract between yourself, the immigrant, and the government. Think of it as a three-party contract. And you cannot get out of this contract just because you are divorcing. So it becomes very important to understand when you sponsor your spouse, and of course when everybody sponsors their spouse, they're in love and they just got married and they're ready to bring this person over. But understand, if things do not work out between you and the immigrant spouse down the road, you can still be held by the government to maintain this person's standard of living above the poverty line throughout the terms of the agreement. And the agreement basically says until they are a U.S. citizen, until they die, or until they've had 10 years basically of working on their own through the work record, through establishing payments through IRS, through tax systems.
They ain't doing it here, honey. They ain't doing it here, so I don't know
if
why.
y'all be complaining about child support, imagine
it's cheaper to stay here and get one of us, baby.
And I hope those women overseas are watching this stuff because it's like, honey, I hope you know what you're getting yourself into because, baby, they ain't doing it here.
Okay? Exactly.
So I think
when men make that comment, they're not thinking about the actual process and the commitment that they are going to have to put into that and the longevity, even if that relationship doesn't work out. Like, you're still her sponsor. So keep that in mind. When you find your other American woman, you, let's just say you went over there and you got her and you thought it was the best thing since sliced bread and it didn't work out. Maybe she became Americanized, the thing that you hate about American women. And now you stuck still sponsoring her and taking care of her for 10 years.
Honey, and she gonna milk it to the day she die.
And now your new wife, you meet your new wife and she's American and you like, man, I've been looking for you my whole life. And now you got to explain to her why you still got a sponsor.
Wait, why did Albie, I got to shout you out. He just said, I just threw my passport in the trash with a crying emoji.
You guys, so listen, so it's serious talk. So look, I personally have no problem. I feel like if you find love, I think everybody deserves love. You know, who am I to say you have to stay in America for love? I want you to find love. I want everyone to be happy. I'm not one of those people who feels like, oh, I want all black men to myself. No, I want you to be happy. You know, because this is your life and I want you to be happy. But I just want you to know that if you're going to make moves, you need to be educated on the moves that you're going to make. And yes, if you bring somebody over, if it's your spouse, you are legally responsible for them. You are sponsoring them. So if something were to happen and this lady no longer wants to be with you, let's just say she adapts to the American culture and this fine football player just walks past and she's like, oh, I like that. And he likes her and she leaves you. You're still responsible for her because you sponsored her. Okay. Mm-hmm. So she can leave you and you have to still sponsor her because you made an agreement with the government that if you bring this woman over here, you will be responsible for her. That's how it goes.
I mean, it's the easiest get out of jail free card for them, marrying somebody to come over to the States, especially when you have that out. It's like, okay, yeah, the second that they start showing out, I'm out. And, it's it's the easiest way for people to get into the United States. Quick, very quick.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to? And so I'm sorry, that's not where I wanted to put that. But since Tam brought in the forums, I felt it would be a good
I watched 90 Day Fiance and it is entertaining.
Yeah, we watched 90 Day Fiance.
Is that the one with the girl?
Yeah.
Pedro.
Yes.
I know she went to
They're going through a
She was on cheer squad. She was on the cheer. Remember, she was on my squad. Okay, there's too much information.
They're about to go through a divorce now.
And like he initiated it.
Okay, y'all, this is not a review of 90 Day Fiance.
No, I'm just saying this is a prime example of what could happen.
And he divorced her ass.
Because she would not bring his family over. The word is she wouldn't sponsor his family. And so he was just like,
but that's what he wanted all along. You know what I mean? Like that's what he obviously there were hidden agendas. And so
and that's what my question would be to the men. By going overseas and getting these women because you think it's better, how do you know that love is even going to be genuine? Like, how do you know that?
And would they stay with you if you stayed in that country, sir?
So this is one thing, and let me just, because I usually don't like to bring the chat because I try to stay out the chat as much as possible. But one person said, well, people do that all the time, rich people. No, they do not. Those women that those men are dating if they were already here on a green card, they didn't bring them over here. Nobody who has a good financial advisor with a good background is going to advise their person to go over to another country and bring somebody here. Now, they may date somebody who's already here, who's already sponsored, who already has their green card, but not many are advising their people to go over, get a woman and bring her here because they know that would be like, that's just stupid.
Especially when you have that many options as a high value.
You already have a lot of options.
Like.
So
I was saying that I think based on, and like I said, I know this isn't all men. I'm only speaking to a lot of the I'm going to call it rhetoric that I hear in the manosphere about, Black women this, Black women that, Black women are terrorists, all of this kind of stuff, right? And then dating younger women, right? So, dating, or marrying younger women is easier because you can mold them, you can groom them, blah, blah, blah. So I think this whole idea of marrying abroad is kind of in alignment. So the thing that I kind of thought about that was kind of very similar is the fact that they want someone who doesn't know enough to have higher expectations, right?